our very first live stream from the goat shed. Now, we've never done this before, so let's just see how it goes. So today in Australia is Monday, the 28th of November. So we're getting closer and closer to Christmas, and in Australia our seasons change on the 1st of the month. So December 1 is the commencement of our summer period. And I believe in the United States that winter doesn't officially start till sort of toward the end of December. I remember fall, I think, started on the 28th of September when I was over there. But anyway, today we're working on a Gottlieb surfer. Now, this is the second one we've done this month. All our viewers will remember we've previously had a surfer in, but in fact this is a surf champ. It's the 4-player version. So the other surfer has been completed, waiting for the client to pick it up, and this one only came in on the weekend. So we're also in the middle of doing an Icarus, which we've halfway through, but we've got no room, so we're waiting for the client to pick up his surfer so we can get the Icarus up and running and put the head box on it. We're pretty well down to troubleshooting on that. So as everyone knows, what we do is we tend to pull everything apart, and in this case we've got the actual head unit completely out of the game. We're going through the score reels. Where are we up to? So we've still got some score reels to do. I started on this one over the back here on Saturday. I've done that. That's completed. Graham's just had to step out for a little while this morning, so I'm still in the middle of doing things. One other thing we're doing at the moment, we've got the player unit out of the game. We've cleaned up the rivet plate. We've checked all the connections on the back with a multimeter. It's always a good idea to do that for continuity so you don't strike a problem, because remember, these wires all end up becoming a connection through the wiper fingers. Now the wiper fingers we have to do, here they are. They're going to need new braid on them and taken out and given a thorough clean. So we've gone through all this stuff on our previous videos, but this is just showing you what we do. Now, here's the actual step unit. It's been completed. So it's all done and it's working as it should. The only thing we may have to do, this spring is stretched a little bit at each end, just a little bit. We may, when we put it back together, have to cut a couple of loops off that spring. And don't forget to put some PBR grease on these rivet plates to take the friction away. That's dielectric grease and it makes it move easier. Yes, I hear you, some people use, what's it called, 3-in-1. Okay, well, if you want to use that, that's fine. So, what I'm going to be doing in a moment is allow you to see what we do with pulling out a unit out of the game. So we're going to pull out the replay unit. Now, like all these step units, it has to be, there's the replay unit there. It has to be attended to and pulled apart. And then we're going to put all the parts in the ultrasonic cleaner. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able to completely see what I get up to there. I've got limited space here, but we'll get started on that in just a moment. Here's what we do to a score reel. Here's a score reel out of the game. Let's get that in. There it is there. So as you can see, we've got it stripped down. We've taken the coil out to put a new coil sleeve in. We check that none of the end of stroke switch or the carryover switch is broken. We clean the switch stacks as we've got them out. We make sure this is operating nice and smoothly, and we make sure that the pawl that stops the score reel from going backwards is not bent. We always just give it a little lift up like that, just slightly, to get it nice and straight and everything. So, looks like we've got about 6 viewers. That's more than I expected. Can someone write a comment for me and just see if that works? As I said, never done this before. And I am recording it to post to YouTube later on. Just a quick look around our workshop while we're here, for those of you that may not have seen it before. Oh, there's a can of WD-40. Yeah, we do use that. We use it to free things up. Stepper units get stuck. Pivot screws. Here's the match unit, or we call it the 0 to 9 unit. It's got to be done. It's not operating very smoothly. Look at that. Sticking. Got to push it up manually. That's no good. Ah, thanks, Marcus. It works okay. Hello, Jeannie. Met Jeannie in York, Pennsylvania there, at the White Rose Game Room show. Good to see you here. Thank you. So, yeah, we've got to do this unit. So there's lots to do, and you can see the time and effort we've got to put into these to get them to work. It's quite a big effort. Okay, let's have a quick look at some of the things we've got here in the shed. To make life easy, we made a little bit of a tool rack there, where we just use brackets to hold those green things up there. They're the Allen keys. So the 1/8, 964, all the 3/32, all the common ones you use. Then on the bottom right, we've got the magnetic spin-tight drivers, the long ones with the shaft where you can poke through to get like playfield switch posts out and everything like that. There's our goat shed sign. See, have a look at this. That's our clock. That was gifted to us when we were in the US in 2018. And up toward the back of the room, we have our workbench with our grinder and everything on it. You can see our whiteboards where we put our current jobs and the parts we've listed on it. So on Surf Champ so far, we've put in 17 coil sleeves. So 16 of those would be 16 of those would be in the score reels, as we alluded to a moment ago, and the other spare one would have gone into the player unit, which we've just done. So let's give you a quick look up here while we're on the job. This is our ultrasonic cleaner. It's pretty typical. It's a brand called, it starts with a V, I just can't remember, but they're made in China. I mean, they're a dime a dozen. That's a 15-litre one, I think, from memory. I've got that heating up now, ready to put the parts in. There's our bench grinder. Now, we mainly use the polishing wheel on the left-hand side, polish up screws and nuts. We are going to invest in a tumbler. We've asked Santa to bring us one for Christmas, so we'll see what happens there. There's some of our paint that we use for different spray applications. Here's a bingo machine we're working on at the moment. This is a Bally Blue Chip. This is a machine from late 70s. We've had this here a while now. We've really got to try and get this completed. We had it out in the other shed. There's the front door to the goat shed with a Spanky sign on it. And here's a sample. Can we see that? That's got to be painted yet. That's made of MDF. It's very, very heavy. And we're just going to play with some colours on that and get some to put on the front door of the shed. So here's the other surfer we completed That's the head box of the one we're working on. That's underneath a central park. We've got to finish that job. And here's Icarus that we're working on. So we've just got to wait till that surfer gets out the road to move it so we can get in there. There's our dog Abby. She's only been with us about a month now. Rescue dog. Belongs to Graham's brother, in fact. There's the back of High Hand. That's been finished with a new cabinet. There's actually 3 new cabinets all stacked up behind there. One's for High Hand, one's for, I think it's, Target Pool. And the others is for Quick Draw. So we've got those to do. We've got plenty of work to do. And here's our main workbench here with our drill press. Yeah, we use that a bit, the old drill press. Gives us, I guess, a lot of flexibility in what we can actually do. And all those cabinets up the back, they're our parts cabinet. Some of our parts are in there. Not all our parts, but this one here has got a lot of Jones plugs and stuff like that in there. FS relays, there's lots of those in there. Hopefully we'll never run out of parts. There's a sign one of our fans made for us, a goat shed with the score reel 2018. There's a step unit that we recently refurbished. We showed a lot of people before. That was filthy, that. It's more or less set up like a trophy, you know, you can put a plaque on it and things like that. There's a sign from our best pinball restoration back in 2016. I think that was for fashion show. Gottlieb's fashion show. So let's do a bit of work. If you want to watch us do a bit of work, we're going to set this up and we're going to do a little bit of work. I have to remove the replay unit out of the game. I don't think you're going to be able to see a lot from where we are, but let's have a go and see if we can do it. So hang on. Okay, that's a bit better, I guess. So we've already desoldered the wires off the lugs here, as you can see. Now it's just a matter of, there's a screw down the back here that holds the unit on. So I need to unscrew that. I'm normally not a big believer in showing you unscrewing a screw, but seeing as we're live, we really haven't got any option. So I just like to get that screw and take it out. It's got a washer on it. Rubber washer. That's the screw if no one's seen it before. Now I've got a parts tin. We always put the parts in something. So in this case, we've just got a little, keep them all together so that the parts will all go in there. Makes sense, I think, to do that. Now we've got to take the 2 screws out of the bracket here. They've got the little springs under them, so having it pointing downwards this way makes it a lot easier to get them out and put them back when you put it back together. Now it's very, very important that you don't lose those. They are the same springs that go in pop bumpers. There they are there, those type of things. That's the bracket. So just pop that in. So now this unit is sort of more free and we can get at it a little easier. Now what we're going to do, I just like to turn that over a little bit on an angle, over the other way. And now I can get at these screws here to undo. Run with my philosophy, use the right size screwdriver. I'll loosen these off a bit and there's nuts on the back of those. And we're going to take those stacks off. Once we do that, so they're loose, all I've got to do now is take the nuts off. There we go. There's one. I've got that in my hand. We'll get the other. They have a spring washer on the end, so just watch out for those. They tend to fall off easy. Try and get this one off together. No, I couldn't. I've got fat little fingers, so I'll just get that behind there like that and remove that. And the one on the other side, it'll come out. Now, what I like to do... Oh, that's stuck to it. Can everyone see that? Not sure if you can see that spring washer is stuck there. So I'll just have to tap that off. Hope I don't lose it. There it is. It's gone down there. I'll just pick that up. Pretty easy to do. And what I like to do is put these back on. Makes life easy for you. I guess a lot of people haven't seen this done before, so to me it's very repetitive. I do it all the time. Graham and I both working on this. One's generally doing the score reels. I start on all the step units. That's all back together. Now, hey presto, look what's happened. We have a replay unit in our hand. So there it is. That's how you get it out of the game. Now you've got to pull it apart. Not sure if anyone's interested enough in knowing how that comes apart, but I'm going to bore you anyway and show you. So what we'll do, we'll take this over onto the bench where there's a bit more room. I can stand up and I can try and show you. Hello, wacky world of Windios from Washington State. Haven't been to Washington yet. And we've got someone from over the ditch in Kiwi land. How are the sheep? That wasn't very nice, was it? I think we play New Zealand in the cricket again soon, don't we? Give him a hiding. Now, I've mentioned this before. Wait a moment. You pretty much need 6 tools to get a step to work on a stepper. You need a 9/64 Allen key, a 1/8, an 11/32 nut driver, which is always coloured green, and a 5/16 nut driver, which is always coloured yellow. That's one good thing about those. And you need a couple of screwdrivers. Generally a number 6, a number 5, and the slightly bigger number 8. Sometimes you don't need that number 5. There's the number 8. Okay, so what I'm going to do is pretty straightforward. I just connect all the springs first, so you just remove that spring off there like that. That's done. That's very simple. You get this spring here and take it off. Now I use a spring hook. Okay. That's a trick from the old typewriter days. Grab the spring under there and just gently pull it out. I haven't got a light over here, so forgive me if I'm a few moments. There it comes. Oh, still haven't got it. There it is. Try not to damage the loop on the end of the spring. Okay, you take this one off. This is the sub-track pull. That just comes off very easily. Now, nothing's under spring tension. It's much easier to work with. What you do next is it's just as easy to get the 9/64 Allen screw and start taking these out. Spin them off. I've got a metal container there to put those in. I'll try and do it left-handed so you can see. I'm sure everyone's seen a screw come out before. Now these Allen screws, if you lose them, you can replace them with an ordinary screw, but I actually bought some of these when I was in the US. No, I actually got some in Australia not long ago. I bought some roll pins in the US for other jobs. This is pretty easy to do. They're not very often on the replay unit, but often on bonus units and that. This breaks. So when that breaks, you see them welded and so on, and you make sure this is tight. All right, so we're going to put that away. Now we can take, that's got a spring washer. That gets cleaned. The other part over there gets cleaned. Change the coil sleeve. Take the plunger out. That gets polished on the polishing wheel we showed you earlier on. Right, our next job is take this out. Now this is generally use the number 6 driver to take this out. But first of all, you've got to loosen the nut. We're getting ahead of ourselves there. To loosen the nut, we need to take this off. Take this off, comes off very easily. 3 screws. We boring you yet? Hope not. I love these steppers. They're just what I was used to. I've worked on electromechanical equipment for 50 years now. I started as a typewriter mechanic in 1970. Still doing electromechanical stuff with pinball machines. Now we've taken that off, we can get our 11/32 nut driver to spin this off. It's not rocket science. Off it comes. Sometimes on later steppers, that washer that's there, that one, that is welded to the frame. Not on this one though. Now we can get our screwdriver, pop it in and remove that screw. It's got a washer on it as well. I just spin that out. Now this is a shoulder screw going through a nylon bushing. And one of the main problems here is that, just put that washer back on. This isn't too bad, but you get a lot of dirt and everything on there. Gums it up. Put your washer back on. I just throw all this into the ultrasonic cleaner. Gee, we've got 10 viewers now. Hello. Anyone that's just joined us. Hold that there like that. Pop that on. The biggest problem here is that this is the drive pull. They get sticky. This one's not too bad, but this gets all washed in the ultrasonic cleaner. So we've got getting less and less on the frame now. Next thing to take off would be the reset arm. This is called the reset arm. Now this is the thing that pivots, and this is the reset pull or escapement pull, I think Williams call it. Williams works a bit differently. So what you do here, and this is where we use the WD-40 sometimes, get your 5/16 inch nut driver on that nut. You must loosen this nut. Oh, now this one feels really nice. It's just going to fall off. But a lot of them get really tight. And if they do, you loosen them, tighten them, loosen them, tighten them, loosen them, tighten them. Spray a bit of WD-40 down there. Or I use a special thing that not everyone would have this, but it's penetrating oil. I just got to find it. Someone's knocked me penetrating oil off. Oh, here it is. No, they haven't. That's a special penetrating oil that was given to me. The guy used to fix stuff in aircraft he used to use. It's pretty much a full bottle, and you only need a drop. So that comes off. You loosen that. And you have one of those spring washers on the back of this one too. There it is there. I will just remove that. That's pretty easy. And then you can undo the screw. And like any screw, once again, this is a pivot screw. Just pop it in. Sometimes these are burred over in the factory, but this one's coming out remarkably easy. What a great one I picked for my video. Hey, the subtract pawl comes off, and these are the ones that get dirty. But this one, once again, isn't too bad. They get a lot of. We did one the other day. It had white grease all here. That was the play unit of this game, white grease. This one they didn't put any grease in it, which is good, because it was terrible. I think they started that in about 76, where this is when Surfer. Remember any Gottlieb pinball with a really big door? Came out in 76. It started with Spirit of 76. Okay, so we've nearly got this apart. Right, the next thing we've got to do, turn it over. We've got to remove this link, which I probably should have done first for you, but it's just got to come out. That's the plunger and everything on there. That does come out. That gets greased up, but we'll remove that link. All I'm going to do is pop that down on this bit of wood. I'm just going to get a screwdriver and I'm just going to gently prise that off the edge of the screwdriver, making sure I cover my finger so that can't flick around and flick off. If it disappears, you're in a bit of trouble. So that comes off now. That goes in. There's the reset arm. Let's have a look at the spring on that. That's not going to fall off. I'll leave that on there. Now all that remains to be done is this. Take this out. Now, this is a torsion spring. All right, so that's under spring tension. Now what I've got to do, I'm going to do one or two things here in a moment. I'm going to get a jeweler's screwdriver and this is where you've got to be a bit careful. Push down on that and then get under the spring and lever it out. I know you can't really see that. Just push it out. Then just flick it up and out like that. Now rest it against there because that's under spring tension. And what you need to do is just lift that up and unravel it gently. All right? You don't want that coming up and hitting you in the fingers. It'll hurt. Okay, so you got that. Now, because you're not going to see me put that back together, when I wind that spring back on, you give it 3 to 4 turns. Generally 3 on a replay unit. That's all it is. It's a torsion spring. Some people call them a clock spring. The only other thing to do now is to take your 1/8 inch nut driver, Allen key, undo that one. There's always 2 of them. Undo the other one. Like such. Get this now and twist it off. Sometimes you've really got to twist them back and forth to get them off. That one came off easy. The whole escapement wheel comes out. That'll get cleaned. Oh dear, I've got dirty hands. That's a bummer, isn't it? We've just got one more thing to do now. Got to take this off. So that's those nuts are a 5/16. Get in there, undo them. Take that off because you need to change that coil sleeve. This is the coil stop bracket. These also can break, the coil stop brackets. Put the nuts back on so you don't lose. Well, I do this. I mean, you don't have to do that. I just do it. Probably a bit anal, I suppose. Undo that one. And, whoops, I dropped it. Like I said, it's boring watching people do this, isn't it? There we go, we got it. Now notice how that comes out. If you're not familiar with this, take pictures. It doesn't go that way, it goes that way. If it was a stepper unit, it may go that way, a bonus unit. Out comes that, out comes that, and out comes the coil sleeve. What have we got now? A whole heap of parts in no semblance of order and a frame. So that's all going to go into the ultrasonic cleaner. Now, remember we said earlier on, you need a number 8 driver, and we haven't used it yet, have we? But we're going to now. All these screws, even though they don't look it, take number 8. You know how to test a screw for being loose? Oh, we can't see, can we? 1 second. Always lean your weight in the anti-clockwise direction as if you're undoing it. That way you can generally check a loose screw. This is the 0 stop. See that little tab there? That's the 0 position. That's where this metal piece here hits to tell that that's at 0. So you've got to get that on the right side, which is the right side of it. Always check the 0 stop's not loose. Check these. They're all right. And remember, this is the part number A256. I know this off the top of my head. They often break across there. The reason they break is because that's where the coil plunge is going up and the drive arm stops and hits it. But as the coil plunger wears and the coil stop wear, it goes higher. So that hits really hard and breaks. So we've got to clean those things. Yeah. So we'll put that in the ultrasonic cleaner. Now what I do, I use kerosene. To clean the dirtier parts. So the dirtier parts are as follows. That's just kerosene. So the coil stop, the reset arm, the coil plunger, what else have we got? The spider, and the 2 pivot screws. There's the other plunger, little washer. Oh, and the the reset arm or the escapement pawl go in. And what we'll do with the other 3 parts that we have left over, which is here, here, and here, they'll all go in. So that's the coil bracket, the escapement wheel itself. They'll all just go in the ultrasonic cleaner. So that's a bit of what we do in the goat shed. Probably fairly boring. I'm not sure if anyone has any questions while we're still live, or we'll cut this feed off soon. I've had about 3 phone calls I've got to answer while this has been happening. Yeah. So, give us a message if you've got anything you want to know. Or contact us via our Facebook page. So remember, we have a Facebook page, which is the Goat Shed EM Pinball Repair. The light's going on and off here. Let's go over here and sit down. Might be a bit easier. Yeah, the Goat Shed EM Pinball Repair. And of course you're familiar with our YouTube channel. I'll just see how it reacts or people respond to this live feed. As I said, we've never done it before. I appreciate that it can be a bit monotonous doing this sort of thing, fixing pinball machines. So if we had sort of anything exciting to happen, we might do one on troubleshooting one day when we've got time. Regrettably, time is a problem we have. We do these videos live. We make mistakes. You're going to see the mistakes we make. You do forget to show people some things, but when you're live, you can't really cover anything up. So, yeah. Alrighty, well, we've now been going for 35 minutes, so what I think we'll do, if I can figure out how this happens, we'll certainly finish this video off. So thank you very much for watching. And I guess what we'll say, this has been... Oh, before we do that, where is he? Just a minute. We didn't show Spanky in our first live telecast. I don't know where he is. He might have went out with Graham. Are you here, goat? Oh, never mind. Everyone knows what he looks like. Okay. Well, yeah, Spanky's helps us all the time. All right, well, like I said, this is experimental. I've repeated myself, but anyway, we'll see how we go with this. Okay, so thanks for tuning in and watching.